Fossil fuel, any of a class of hydrocarbon containing materials of biological origin occurring within Earth's crust that can be used as a source of energy. Fossil fuels include coal, petroleum, natural gas, oil shales, bitumens, tar sands, and heavy oils. All contain carbon and were formed as a result of geologic process acting on the remains of organic matter produced by photosynthesis, a process that began in the Archean Aeon 4 billion to 2.5 billion years ago. Most carbonaceous material occurring before the Devonian period 419.2 million to 358.9 million years ago was derived from algae and bacteria, whereas most carbonaceous material occurring during and after that interval was derived from plants. The three major fossil fuels are coal, oil, and natural gas. First, coal. Coal is a solid fossil fuel formed from plant remains. Known deposits of coals and other fossil fuels can be obtained using current technology are called reserves. Coal is the most plentiful fossil fuel in the US. It's easy to transport. It provides lots of energy when burned. And second, oil. Oil is a thick liquid fossil fuel. It is formed from remains of small animals, algae, and protists. Petroleum is another name for oil. The United States consumes about 1/3 of all the oil produced in the world. Only 3% of the world supply is located in this country. When oil is first pumped out of the ground, it is called crude oil. A factory where crude oil is separated into fuels and other products by heating is called a refinery.
Natural gas. The third major fossil fuel is natural gas. It's a mixture of methane and other gases. Advantages: provides lots of energy, lower levels of air pollution than coal and oil, and it's easy to transport. Disadvantage: highly flammable. One of the main byproducts of fossil fuel combustion is carbon dioxide. The ever-increasing use of fossil fuel in industry, transportation, and construction has added large amounts of CO2 to the Earth's atmosphere. CO2 behaves as a greenhouse. It absorbs infrared radiation emitted from Earth's surface and radiates it back to the surface. Thus, the substantial CO2 increase in the atmosphere is a major contribution factor to the human-induced global warming. To counter worries over rising greenhouse gas concentration and diversify the energy mix, many countries have sought to reduce their dependence on fossil fuels by developing sources of renewable energy, while at the same time increasing the mechanical of efficiency engines and other technologies that rely on fossil fuels.
The advantage and disadvantage of using fossil fuels in the environment. Advantage: first, can be enjoyed for the welfare of the people, namely, the use of fossil fuels can generate electricity in very large quantities and evenly in desired location and area. Second is relatively easier to find in a state of urgency because currently the availability of fossil fuels can be found in various areas with a distance that is not too far between the location that provide fossil fuels, such as gasoline, with the next fossil fuels. Third is relatively very economical for users who come from poor communities because the price provided is always adjusted to the needs at that time. And fourth is processing and extracting fossil fuels can be done easily only with a special pipe which is usually used by the workers on mining sites. And next, fossil fuels include fuels that are currently available and stable to be used every day. Next, fossil fuels also include stable fuels that do not experience change in color, odor, weight, size, and acidity compared to other substances on the Earth. And next, fossil fuels can be prosper all mankind. It is proven by the use of fossil fuels that electricity can be illuminate all countries in the world without having to worry about running out of natural resources for now. Fossil fuels are the main support that is vital for the progress and ongoing economic movement from year to year as long as the fossil fuels supplies are still there. The progress of an industry will always run smoothly. And the last advantage is the use of fossil fuels in industry, especially the biomechanical industry and other elements can be used for progress, development, and economic growth in the future.
Next, disadvantage. First, increased pollution in the form of toxins in the air or free radicals. The use of natural gas emissions or fossil fuels can increase air pollution, which will cause global warming and pollute water. Air that has been contaminated by fossil fuels can cause a build-up of toxic particles that combine with free radicals produced by dust, cigarette smoke, waste burning smoke, and others. If it continues to happen, the air will never be healthy because the more free radicals are raised, the more toxins humans and animals and plants will inhale. Thus, the oxygen content in the air is getting thinner. Second, causes acid rain. The use of fossil fuels can release several harmful substances into the air such as sulfuric acid, carbonic acid, and nitrate, which if they have accumulated in the sky and become black clumps when they fall to the earth, the process of acid rain will occur. Acid rain can damage material of art items that have high historical value such as state statues, national monuments, statues of religious symbols, and others, where the acid rain can destroy calcium carbonate in the layers and part of important objects.
And the next one is causes environmental pollution of soil and water. The results of burning fossil fuels used in biomechanical industry tend to produce waste, namely the remains of the combustion process when industrial activities are carried out. Wasted waste can pollute and poison the soil layer, which can make plants unable to live normally and result in clear and contaminated water if the disposal method is not correct. For example, if it is disposed of in a lake or sea, it will reduce oxygen in the water and it can cause the basic inhabitants of the water in the form of fish, shrimp, crab, or other animals to die. So it is necessary to have a way to utilizing garbage and waste. Next, supplies are running low. Fossil fuels have been used for 100 years as fuel for vehicles, planes, and others, which continue to be used for the next few centuries. It is certain that fossil fuels are indeed very beneficial for the life of many people. But if the supply is already exhausted, then it cannot be obtained easily because the emergence of fossil fuels in very large of number will be found in the next 100 years. So, fossil fuels are non-renewable fuels, which means that if they are used today, tomorrow they will no longer use. And the last one is increase the greenhouse effect and result in global warming. The burning of fossil fuels release carbon dioxide gas or CO2 into the atmosphere, which amplifies the greenhouse effect on Earth and result in global warming and climate extremes. Thank you.